Good morning everyone. This is Madhuri Ravindra. So today I'll be explaining about photosynthesis. So what is photosynthesis? In this definition we can split up like photo means light and synthesis means preparation of food. So going to the definition of photosynthesis, it can be defined as photosynthesis is the process by which photoautotrophs convert light energy into chemical energy, which can be later used as fuel for their activities. That is, plants absorb sunlight and convert this light energy into chemical energy to produce fuel or energy for the activity of organisms. So for the process of photosynthesis to occur, it requires three crucial elements, namely water, carbon dioxide and sunlight. So if any of these three elements are absent, the process may be hindered. So this is the diagrammatic representation of photosynthesis, that is, when sunlight is being absorbed by leaves, mainly the leaves in plants, in presence of chlorophyll, carbon dioxide and water which is present gives us carbohydrates, that is glucose, and oxygen will be liberated. So this is the general equation for photosynthesis, that is, when 6 molecules of carbon dioxide and 6 molecules of water in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll gives us glucose and oxygen will be released. That is, the photosynthesis can also be defined as when two inorganic molecules, here the two inorganic molecules is carbon dioxide and water. So when two inorganic molecules in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll reacts together to give us glucose and oxygen will be liberated. So this is all about the equation, that is two reactants, carbon dioxide and water reacts to give us two products, namely oxygen and glucose. Now process of photosynthesis. Where does actually this photosynthesis occur in the cell? So at the cellular level, this process takes place in cell organelles called chloroplasts. So what are these chloroplasts? Chlorophyll containing plastids are nothing but chloroplasts. So these chloroplasts contain a green color pigment called chlorophyll, which is responsible for the characteristic green coloration of the leaves. So leaves are green in color due to the presence of a pigment called chlorophyll. Coming to the structure of chloroplast, so it is mainly a double membrane structure consisting of an outer membrane and inner membrane. Outer membrane is more permeable when compared to inner membrane. In between these two membranes, there is a space called intermembrane space. The fluid present inside the membrane is the stroma or the aqueous fluid, and the stack-like structure here is called the thylakoid. Stack of thylakoids together called as granum. One thylakoid is linked to another thylakoid with the help of lamellae, and the lumen is present inside the thylakoid. So this is the general structure and explanation about chlorophyll. Coming to the steps, photosynthesis steps. The process of photosynthesis can be objectively divided or mainly divided into 4 steps. The first step is absorption of light. So as I told you, plants absorb light. So how will they actually absorb light? Chlorophyll that are attached to the proteins inside the thylakoids of chloroplast absorb light. Nothing but chlorophyll present inside the chloroplast absorb light. Once when this light energy is absorbed, it is used to remove the electron from the electron donor. And this electron which is removed from the electron donor is being transferred to the primary electron acceptor called quinine, which is a primary electron acceptor. Second step is electron transfer. So in the previous step I have told you the electron is being moved to the primary electron acceptor. So this electron transferred from primary electron acceptor to the final electron acceptor called NADPH. So during this transfer of electron through membrane, protons which are present in the membrane are pumped out of the membrane, resulting in proton gradient across that membrane. So this proton gradient is nothing but there will be a higher concentration of proton outside the inner membrane than the membrane. So and hence this causes proton gradient. The third step is generation of ATP. So during the movement of protons from outer to inner membrane, from thylakoid to stroma, through a complex called F0 F1 complex, result in the generation of ATP from ADP and inorganic phosphate. That is, how is ATP generated is due to the movement of protons from thylakoid lumen to the stroma, that is from inside of the membrane to outside through a complex called F0 F1 complex results in the generation of ATP from ADP and inorganic phosphate. Coming to the last step, carbon fixation. So during photosynthesis, during this step, it mainly utilizes energy molecules, that is ATP and NADPH, to assimilate carbon dioxide to form carbohydrates. So the first three steps takes place in the presence of light, and hence these steps are called as light reactions, whereas these carbon fixation are independent of light and hence these are termed as dark reactions. The process of photosynthesis mainly occurs in two stages. One is light dependent or the light reaction. The second one is light independent or the dark reaction, or also called as Kelvin cycle. So coming to the light dependent photosynthesis, how does this light dependent photosynthesis occur and where does this actually occur? So as the name itself says that light dependent photosynthesis, that is, it mainly required light or it mainly depends on the light to produce the energy molecules ATP and NADPH. Where does this actually occur? So this occurs in the grana or thylakoid of the chloroplast. So what exactly happens in this photosynthesis? Photolysis or the splitting up of molecules of water takes place. So when you split up the photo means light, lysis means breakdown. So in presence of light, the water molecule can be broken down into hydrogen and oxygen. And next, as I previously told you during the absorption of light steps, chlorophyll absorbs light which is present inside the chloroplast. So during this absorption of light, it loses one electron. So how will it get back its electron? So we can see it here. The chlorophyll molecule gets back its lost electron from electron released during photolysis of water. So this light dependent photosynthesis is also called photochemical phase of photosynthesis. Here photolysis occurs, that is breaking down of water molecule into hydrogen and oxygen, and the end product of this photosynthesis is ATP and NADPH. So this is all about light dependent photosynthesis. Next, coming to light independent photosynthesis. As the name itself suggests, no light is required here to reduce carbon dioxide and glucose by the use of ATP and NADPH. So where does this light independent photosynthesis occur? It mainly occurs in the stroma of the chloroplast. So what happens here in this photosynthesis is reduction of carbon dioxide into glucose takes place through a reaction, series of reaction which forms a Kelvin cycle. So in this light independent, the carbon dioxide is reduced into glucose through a series of reactions called Kelvin cycle. And also the carbon dioxide is taken up in the night, that is, the carbon dioxide is absorbed in night and an intermediate is produced called as malic acid. This acts upon the energy absorbed through chlorophyll, and ATP produced will reduce this malic acid to carbohydrate. So what happens here is So when light is not present, the carbon dioxide is absorbed at the night to produce its intermediate product in the form of malic acid. So this energy absorbed to chlorophyll, the chlorophyll absorbs energy and the ATP produced will reduce this malic acid into carbohydrates. So this light independent photosynthesis is also called biochemical phase of photosynthesis. So in this, as in light dependent, photolysis do not occur. That is, here water molecule will not be broken down into hydrogen and oxygen. So the end product of this reaction is glucose. So this is all about light independent photosynthesis. Coming to the importance of photosynthesis. Why is photosynthesis important, or how the photosynthesis is useful to us? So the three main points are: oxygen in the air mainly comes from photosynthesis. All our food directly or indirectly comes from photosynthesis, and it mainly helps to maintain a balance between carbon dioxide and oxygen in the atmosphere as it absorbs carbon dioxide and releases oxygen to the environment. So this was all about photosynthesis. Thank you.